Well, we could just jump right into it. I could introduce you. So this is Zeeshan Khan, CEO of Xenon VR, chairman, co-CTO, founder of Xenon. In the past, Zeeshan has worked as a software engineer. He's developed algorithms for company-focused projects, multiple years of experience in full-stack developer, where he's designed and built customized sites, and obviously deep expertise in advanced hardware and embedded system algorithms. Interesting, in his free time, he researches in AI, ML, and hardware embedded systems. So professional and personal pursuits collide. He went to New Jersey Institute of Technology, where he studied computer and electrical engineering, and was a former student athlete in track and field runner, billiard player as well, and he represented his school team in the NCAA tournaments. His presentation is AI, ML, and hardware embedded systems. Let's welcome Zeeshan.
Hi everybody. Well, before I start anything, I want to walk through a basic understanding of what the AI and machine learning people have an idea of it. So most of people don't grasp the full concept of AI and machine learning. And over the years, I've seen is that many people understand the basic logic behind it, but they don't understand the full in-depth what we can accomplish and understand how we can achieve our market model, not just on a business side of it, but also in medical and other fields as well. Can you please go next slide? Or can I control this? There we go. So what is machine learning to most people? And as we understand, machine learning is just a program, which is designed to optimize specifically performances of the data, as well as make an efficiency on how to control a big, large data values over the years. And that is learned based on past experience or the number of data sets that is available for there. So AI is a part of, machine learning is a part of a branch from AI, and it's pretty much designed in a way that it calculates the algorithm that allows computer to, it allows computer's behavior over on real data. Next, please. There's two different type of, a quick fact about AI and machine learning is there's two different type of mechanisms that allowed us to code in real world situations. There's one what we know as a supervised algorithm, which is pretty much applies on the information or new data is coming in and understands it. And there's one is unsupervised algorithm. Now, unsupervised is not mostly designed or been used in many factors, but it's the most efficient in terms of when you drafting a large data set that it creates the conclusion of itself, and it looks at all of the factors out there in the data set and try to understand what the most efficient solution looks like. Now, supervised is mostly designed in a way it looks at whatever the data is available and create a prediction based on that. Next, please. Few of the component, how do we use machine learning over the past few years? Is pretty much representing the information that's already there, and we're just recalculating every detail of that information. And evaluation point of view is like understanding how we're gonna look at all the data is there and how do we understand and organize it and optimize the entire data set for computer behavior. We can learn a simple solution from it. Next, please. So I think there's a bunch of studies I've done over the years. I picked the most common one out there, and I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with Facebook, Fine Art, as well as Netflix. And as you understand, the Netflix is pretty much uses how their machine learning gather information from their user bases. It captures all of their data and then understand what they would like or what they don't like, and suggest certain comment images or some kind of restaurant and etc. And really people have used on a fine art. I'll get back to that in a second. So let me get back to the Netflix side of it. So as you notice, and when you are watching or viewing any kind of movies or TV shows over in Netflix, their algorithm and machine learning understand the feature, the type of movies or shows you like, and they suggest you the other one based on simply a user input-output point of view. Now, going back to the fine art, it's recently about 5-10 years ago where machine learning has been used to understand the art mechanism, how the artist influenced over the years, like how they create an art. You know, everybody have a unique signature in an art, and machine learning has been used to identify the artist by understanding over the past few art they have designed, and how do we understand the future artist information. So machine learning can be used in terms of if nobody having a name on it, using a machine learning, we'll be able to predict which artist that art belongs to. Next, please. Uh, like I said, Netflix point of view, statistically method used, which is pretty much recommending movies to users, is basically based on simply anybody can ask a question over there, and anybody is allowed to answer it. And based on that data, the Netflix algorithm pretty much designed a voting system which allowed the user to suggest which movies they would be more likely to watch. Same applies to Facebook as well as Amazon and all of these big FANG companies allowing that kind of method to suggest certain feature or certain product to their user base. Next, please. Uh, Getting into an AI is it's a little different than most people understand what AI is. Uh, AI, in my understanding, in my experience, where I learned originally when I first started learning about it, I understood it was basically a program that can kind of make the job a lot easier for us to live by. You know, like Apple, iPhones have this series mechanism as designed and as the AI. But the more I dig into it, the more I understood AI has been there since the 1950s. The only thing is that we never understood the technology, and because of that, we never paid too much attention to it. Next, please. Next. Okay. So a little bit history about it. Like I said, AI has been there since 1950. John McCurdy and Marvin was one of the first lab in MIT that created the first AI program. And over the years, AI has become so advanced that every single big company is been getting into it to understand how to automate the entire process, whether it's understanding users database or writing a simple instruction or how the Uber system would work or cars and etc. Next, please. So there, AI has been used in quite a different factor, like I was mentioning earlier, is that it's being used most of the major companies how we use it. Nowadays, AI is being a lot developed and more efficient that the schools, the psychology, as well as understanding human behavior, neural networking, biology, all of these programs are using that to create a better solution for their own field. These are the few of the branches that we are well aware of them. And understanding AI is one of the biggest places AI has been used, actually, believe it or not, is neuroscience as well as a mathematical point of view. Because with AI and machine learning, it creates a lot of solutions that we never thought about it before. And having the large data set with the machine learning connecting with an AI, it allows to find solutions that we never thought about it before, and help us get there faster and understand how that solution would make that field more efficient. Next, please. Uh, Two of the field that I personally believe that makes the biggest impact in using machine learning and in AI is finance as well as the healthcare. And most of finance company, most of stocks, Wall Street, and any uh, fintech companies are using AI to understand how the financial industry will work. Financial advisor will be replacing human advisor point of view, and a computerized system can help that, can a lot more efficient when it comes to writing or figuring out a large data set. And if you look at an old, back in early 1990s, where we had to do a large data set before Excel became an extremely usable tool today, we had to do everything as pen and paper. And finding the tiniest mistake that made over the 10,000 data set, it was very difficult. Nowadays, with machine learning and AI, it helps us out, able to organize and able to create a mechanism that pretty much creates a prediction how the future of financing will look like, how the market will crash, or what is the market value is going to look. The recent example I would give you guys would be Bitcoins. As you guys noticed, recently, a couple months ago, Bitcoin went all the way down to $34,000 value, and recently picked up. And that was because they used large data sets. Why did it drop over the past few years? It's been picking up, and recently it's dropped because the data set was giving to it was very well. It was not predicting how the data would be increasing on or the user base, how many people would buy Bitcoin, and that happens based on again human commentary on Twitter, like Elon Musk, for example. Uh, Now, healthcare point of view, like so, my company Xenon is one of the first company that using AI for optometrists and ophthalmologists and understanding how we can able to predict a diabetes or glaucoma or any of these diseases early on. And that happens based on our algorithm that we wrote. That it pretty much takes a trained data set over the years from the patient and predicts whether patient will have diabetes in the next 5 years or 10 years based on multiple different variables. For instance, if your father have a diabetes or your grandfather didn't have, these two data sets will be able to predict what are the likelihoods that you or your kid will have diabetes or glaucoma or any of the eye treatment problems. So when it comes to machine learning and I believe that the more advanced, the more we learn about these two fields, the more we'll be able to find solutions that we never have in the past, and figuring out in medical field diseases that has been there, like cancers that we never had an access to, or tumor, figuring out these major problem in human health, we'll be able to predict and find out solution way early before the problem becomes an extremely dangerous level. Next, please. Next. Um, like I said, the early cases for the AI was designed in Unix, which was uh, an open source system. Later, in it adopted to a Linux point of view, and most of the AI are out there are pretty much using open source systems. Any software that is assist you or any hardware has an AI system that assists you, like Siri, Alexa, Amazon tools. Any of these are using an open source AI that pretty much predicts what you like and how to do it. It's a trained model, so it's predetermined all the answer and all the question. It's not untrained where machine learning on AI has to predict the answer based on all the data that you've been putting. It's trained in a way that whatever the question that you would ask the series will have the answer already been there. The only question is, the more user ask a question, like you ask a question that series or any of these AI assistants cannot help you, what they do is they pretty much store that answer. And when the new upgrade happens, that answer is there now. Next, please. Um, what does the future looks like for an AI? As I think two of these bullets already been out there. It's been using wireless driverless car are out there. Tesla is one of the first one to create a wireless driverless Uber, and they are testing this model. Again, their train system is based on whatever the information they have. It's not been published in terms of that. It's not been available for users, but they have been testing that for the longest time. Google tried that mechanism back in early 2013, 2014, and they give up on the project. Now, smart home, Tesla has created this model early on for that, and they are implementing homes for users nowadays, and see how efficiently they can have their home environment system that is easier for the user base to pretty much get all the answers they need from their smart home rather than them going on the Google and finding out the answer. like I was mentioning earlier, it would make a big impact in the healthcare, or finding out early diseases and identifying tumors and etc. will be a tool that we're gonna need to use AI and machine learning and figure out how do we make this specific tool more efficient and more reliable, that the data we collect from these tools are validated through whether it's medical standards, whether it's an FDA, whatever the case might be. It would need to be validated before we implement it in public use. Uh, Next, please. So I kept the presentation very short because I wanted to leave a time for everybody to ask questions or anything. So please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Zeeshan, for your presentation. We will open up the floor to any comments or questions anyone might have. So I'll give everyone a couple minutes here. I'm just wondering, do we have your permission to share your slides with those interested?
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's great.